Gaming, and this is the pregame show only on the NBL Network.
Welcome once again, everyone, to another edition of the NBL Live pregame show, and that's brought to you each and every week by Web3KS.com, our graphic sponsor, pregame sponsor. They do that overlay you see here on NBL Live, and a ton of other graphics for us. So if you need graphics done for an affordable price, head over to Web3KS.com. They are the leaders in affordable graphic design. Thanks for hanging out with us, folks. I'm OSU. I'm hanging out with my man Sonny Weaver, taking you up to a great matchup we have. It's a rematch of the NFC Championship game. It is the Washington Redskins and the Detroit Lions. Great game coming up. Now, before we get there, let's show some stats from around the league, mostly looking at the top 10 defenses in the league. Sonny Weaver, let's bring you in here. Interesting to look at this. At the top, we got the San Diego Chargers, Atlanta Falcons, Carolina Panthers, New York Giants, and Dallas Cowboys. The interesting thing I noticed on those 5 teams, those are not great teams by any stretch of the imagination. These are not teams leading their divisions. I mean, the Panthers are on top of a depleted NFC South. A lot of these teams, you'd think you'd see the Detroit Lions, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Cincinnati Bengals, but instead we got these 5. What does it say about how important defense is in the NBL?
Well, I think sometimes stats can be a little bit misleading. You've got 3 teams from that NFC South division. Not really good offenses in that division. So when they play each other, you sometimes get some low scoring, kind of slug it out games with a lot of mistakes. I started looking through those schedules of that NFC South, and even out of out of division, not playing a lot of super juggernaut offenses. So a little bit misleading. What I will say is there are some teams up there that have obviously found their way through. The Los Angeles Rams, the Detroit Lions, and the Oakland Raiders, who are actually surging right now, all do boast very competent defenses to go with some pretty decent offenses.
Yeah, no doubt. Defense still important. It'll be interesting to see how these top 10 defenses shake out as we get towards playoff time. Let's get right down to business, Sonny. It is a marquee matchup here on NBL Live. It is the Redskins and the Lions rematch of the NFC Championship game, which the Washington Redskins were able to come out on top, en route to that Super Bowl in season 24. And I know you're sick and tired of talking about it, Sonny, but Matt Stafford is the key to the Detroit Lions. I mean, I could come up with a bunch of people and put them on this player to watch graphic and be like, these guys are important, but Matt Stafford is the key to the offense. He's completing 72% of his passes. He has a quarterback rating this season of 116.7, 25 touchdowns. This guy seems unstoppable, but Sonny, I've heard over and over, you're not the biggest Matt Stafford fan.
You could probably put together a reel of cut-ups of me talking about the decline of Matthew Stafford. And that's all relative. You got to understand that. It's relative. So a decline for Matthew Stafford, you talk about one of the greats of NBL. For him to decline just means he's mortal. That's all we know, because what we've seen for Matthew Stafford for the last couple seasons has been so far above the rest of the field. You really haven't – you just haven't seen anything like it. So why I do think Matthew Stafford has slid a little bit, he's still having a very good year, and I think he will be the key to the game tonight. But also I think keeping him upright will really be the matchup we got to watch in this game.
You can't doubt a quarterback rating of 116.7 is pretty darn impressive for a quarterback here in the NBL. On the flip side, let's take a look on the defensive side of the ball for the Washington Redskins, one of the key pieces that's going to try to stop this Detroit line passing attack. And they're led by B.J. Sams, the safety, 39 tackles on the year, 3 interceptions, 9 pass defenses, as well as 2 forced fumbles. This is a guy who has proven himself as not only good when the ball is in the air, Sonny, but he is great once he has to chase down a runner, and he can show that he can really lay the lumber and really attack these wide receivers that Matt Stafford has that are so talented.
Yeah, and safety play is important against the Lions, because if Stafford sees that one-on-one coverage, he can take the top off the defense really quickly and expose those defenses in one-on-one matchups. So he will be a key part of this game. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back to what I was just talking about, that defensive line. The matchup I'm really looking at is that defensive line versus the Lions' offensive lines. If they can't keep Matthew Stafford upright, that's going to be an issue. We saw it against the Vikings second half. They were getting a lot of pressure on Stafford. They made that game a lot closer than it should have been. We saw it in the playoff game last year. They got to Stafford, forced some turnovers. It's going to come down to, can they hit Matthew Stafford, and can they get there quickly?
All right, we're about ready to send it out to the game, Sonny. Let's get your prediction. Who do you like in this game? These are two teams that have a combined 3 losses between them. Do you like the Detroit Lions getting revenge from their NFC Championship loss and coming out on top, or do you like the Washington Redskins continuing to reign atop the NFC East and getting another big win over the Detroit Lions?
I'm actually going to go again and pick against the Lions. I think the Washington Redskins defense keeps Matthew Stafford off balance. That line has shown to be a little bit porous at times this year. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the Redskins in a relatively low-scoring game. 17-14 Redskins come out on top.
17-14 Redskins is the prediction from our very own Sonny Weaver, and we'd love to hear your predictions in the chat throughout the first quarter. But let's get to the game, folks. We appreciate everyone tuning into the pregame show, but it is time for some Week 13 action on NBL Live. It's the Detroit Lions and the Washington Redskins, and it's coming up right now here on NBL Live.
My name is Rex Dixon.
Jake Stein.
Clint from EA Sports.
You're watching NBL.
You're watching the NBL Network. And you're watching the MBLN Network.
Empty backfield for Atkins. He's been dropping back to pass here on 4th down. He's looking deep over the middle. He has a man. It's Brandon Cooks who catches it, makes a man miss.
Oh, that's
Woodard is
touchdown.
dropping back. He's got open over the middle. It's
Wow.
Thunder.
That big playmaker
Look at
ability as
him
he
go.
finds him again.
Into the end zone. Another touchdown. Oh boy, do we have a great one on tap for you this week, folks. We appreciate everyone tuning into another episode of NBL Live broadcast number 111. It is the Redskins and the Lions, a rematch of the NFC Championship game. Sonny, this should be a great game and a rematch that we could see once again in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, this is probably a preview of that NFC Championship game. 2 perennial powerhouses from the NFC. I'm excited to see this one unfold.
All right, let's send it down to the third member of our crew. That is our sideline reporter, Z-Star. Star, the Detroit Lions, they know the Washington Redskins. They lost them last year in the NFC title game. Was there any mention coming out of the locker room of the playoff game, or is it just new game, new year, let's forget about that last game?
Absolutely. I mean, 2 words that they stressed all week in practice, ball security. They really felt they were the better team in that NFC Championship game, but the turnovers, especially down in the red zone, came back and haunted them.
Yeah, the Washington Redskins are going to end up getting the ball first to start the game. What a matchup. We appreciate everyone tuning in. I'm OSU. I'm hanging out with my man, Sonny Weaver, and of course, the third member of our crew, Z-Star. We'll be throwing it down to him throughout the game. 1st and 10 for the Washington Redskins under center. He's got 3 wide receivers over to the right, 1 over to the left. Marshall in the backfield. It's a very talented offense led by new quarterback Jameis Winston, now in the Washington Redskins uniform. As Marshall, big hole up the middle. He's going to get up to the 39-yard line. 14 yards on this one. Sonny, new look Washington Redskins. No more Riley Rodenhauser. It's the Jameis Winston show.
And we saw at times earlier in some of the NBL Live games, you really have seen this Detroit Lions rushing defense not as good as we've seen in the past.
1st and 10 for the Washington Redskins. Winston under center on 1st down. He's been dropping back to pass. Looks over to the left side. It is complete to Josh Doxson, who catches it, and he's going to go down around the 45-yard line. 16 yards on this play. And the Washington Redskins already on the other side of midfield. They're on the 45-yard line and working quickly, trying to keep this Detroit Lions defense, who has played well this year, on their heels and not getting a breather. As on 1st and 10, Winston's going to toss this underneath to Battle. Breaks a tackle. Might not have been the best broken tackle, though, as he's going to end up losing a yard because of that. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 11.
We saw the play before that, Josh Doxson making a big catch. Now, he had a big game in that playoff game against Detroit just a year ago. Watch for them to key on him early in this game.
Second and 11 now, Jameis Winston in the shotgun with Keith Marshall. 3 wide receivers over to the right side, 1 over to the left. That is Josh Stockton all alone. Second and 11. It's going to be a toss over to the right side to Pitts. It is complete, and he's going to go down right around the 37-yard line. Getting it back about 9 there and going to cut it to a 3rd and 2.
And so the running game, I'm looking to see Marshall get started here. We saw that carry early on in this game. Would like to see them keep using him early in this game, trying to shorten the amount of possessions Matthew Stafford gets in this game.
Big 3rd and 2 here for the Redskins. Shotgun formation. Keith Marshall in the backfield with Jameis Winston. 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends. 3rd and 2, it's going to be handoff to Keith Marshall over the left side. He's going to get a first down, and it looks like a flag on the play. It's going to be a 15-yard face mask. So tack on another 15, and the Washington Redskins already inside the red zone. Sonny, it seems like when you try to stop the wide receivers, Keith Marshall kills you. When Keith Marshall, you stop him, they end up throwing it to this talented wide receiver core. This is a very potent offense.
It's a very balanced attack, and what they do is they use that run to set up the pass and vice versa, and they do it so well and so balanced that it really keeps defenses off balance.
1st and 10. It's going to be Jameis Winston under center. He's going to hand it to Jones, the backup running back, and he's going to get up to the 15-yard line, maybe getting 2 yards on that play. Going to bring up a 2nd and 8. And, Sonny, a name we haven't called yet is their talented tight end, Jordan Reed. How good is this guy, especially in these situations down inside the red zone?
He's good. He's aged a little bit, lost a little bit of that speed, but he's still a great route runner, and he can still break one open. 2nd
and 8. Handoff to Marshall, cuts it back to the left side. He is up near the first down marker, down around the 8-yard line. I think they're going to call him just short, bring up a 3rd and 1, and a big moment here for the Detroit Lions defense. The number 6 scoring defense in the NBL, number 6 against the run. Middle of the road, though, against the pass. 3rd and 1, it's going to be a handoff to the fullback, White, and he's going to get the first down. Give him 2 yards on that one. Sonny, what do you make of the Lions' defense? We talk about their offense all the time, but how good is this Detroit defense?
Interesting play call there. They come out and dime. I've had some concerns about the way this defense has been called this year, and we're seeing a little bit here early in this drive.
1st and goal. It's going to be a handoff to Keith Marshall right up the gut. Give him 2 yards on that one. The Detroit Lions able to close up that hole, but Marshall 4 carries for 28 yards already. He is a big part of this Washington offense. And we'll see if he gets the ball 2 more times here as they're down inside the 5-yard line. Jameis Winston under center. He's got Keith Marshall in the backfield. 2 wide receivers. 2nd and goal. It's going to be a handoff. Excuse me, that is Matt Jones into the game. And Matt Jones is going to lose a couple, bagging him up to the 7-yard line. Going to bring up a 3rd and goal. Sonny, we saw Matt Jones in the playoffs last year, and unfortunately, this is sort of what we saw. A guy who had trouble getting out of the backfield.
Yeah, Matt Jones should not be taking carries away from Keith Marshall. Marshall is the feature back in this offense.
3rd and goal, 3 wide receivers for Jameis Winston. Matt Jones in the backfield. It's going to be a handoff to Matt Jones, trying to get it on the ground. And, well, he must really like whoever their left guard is, because he was all up in his business, could not get around him. He's going to go down for only a 4-yard gain. And Washington, after starting out the drive so dominant, they're going to have to settle for a field goal inside the 5-yard line. And Keith Marshall only touched the ball once. Interesting play calling there, don't you think, Sonny?
Yeah, that's almost like a little too conservative for my taste. I would like to see him take at least 1 shot down there. Instead, they run the ball 3 times.
Now we get to see the Detroit Lions offense, and this is the same old offense you have seen on so many NBL live games throughout the regular season and the playoffs. It is all Matt Stafford all the time. Very talented wide receiving core, of course, with Gilbert, DeGear, and Whistler Ridgeway. No, Sonny, am I correct? No Faison today. I heard he went down with an injury in the last game.
Yeah, that does appear to be correct.
Nope, he's on the field. He's fine. Don't worry about it.
Run him out there. Okay.
No, I guess he's tough. Tough guy, Faison. I've always said that about him. Throw on 1st down. It is complete down around the down around the 49-yard line. Give him 24 yards on that play, finding Whistler Ridgeway. Sonny, we've seen this wide receiver core so many times. How do you stop it when you have so many weapons?
Well, and that's what I was going to say. Whether or not Faison was playing or not, Matthew Stafford basically turns wide receivers into stars. You don't really stop them. You just try to get to them.
1st and 10. Stafford's going to toss this one underneath. It is complete down to the 46-yard line. Give him 3 yards on that one. Excuse me, give him 6 yards on that one. He's on the other 46 now. And now it's going to bring up a 2nd and 4 for the Detroit Lions. As usual, they're the number 2 scoring offense in the NBL, number 1 through the air. If you're looking at that rushing number, 24th, a big part of that, not a lot of carries for Bubba Dillon. They tend to do this through the air. 2nd and 4, Matt Stafford dropping back to pass. Blitz coming out the middle, he tosses it underneath. It is complete. It is a 1st down to the 39-yard line. And Sonny, that's what Matt Stafford is so good at, and that's why it's so hard to get this offense sort of off its rails. He is good at getting rid of the ball quickly and staying in the pocket.
Well, and I wonder there a little bit on the Redskins defensive call there. They're not playing underneath short down and distance. Matthew Stafford does like to check down. I would be covering that underneath route.
First and 10, play action pass from Matt Stafford looking over to the right side. It is complete for a big first down at the 21-yard line, and that is the other part of this, what appears to be about a five-headed monster, as that one goes to Gilbert DeGear on the right side of the field. Down to the 21-yard line. It's another first down for the Detroit Lions, as Matt Stafford's going to break the huddle once again. Two wide receivers over to the right, one tight end on the left side of the field, two in the backfield, I formation. It's a handoff to Bubba Dillon. And Bubba Dillon's going to get maybe a yard up to the 20-yard line. Sonny, this is a rushing attack that when it's good, it can be good. Bubba Dillon, very talented, but they have trouble getting this going a lot of games.
Well, a lot of times what happens is they just give up on it a little bit early. I think Dillon needs a couple extra carries to get going, but they go to Matthew Stafford so quickly. It's hard to get the running game going, but when he does have his moments, like you said, he can be quite a good ball carrier.
Second and 9, pistol formation for Matt Stafford, dropping back to pass. Looking over to the right side, it is complete. A nice open field tackle made there, as he was able to get him by the shoestrings, bring him down for only a couple. That was phasing with the 2-yard gain, and now it's going to bring up a big 3rd and 7. If you're the Washington Redskins, Sonny, how important is it for your defense's confidence to get off the field here and force a field goal?
Well, I think it's huge, and I think what you're going to have to do here is you're going to have to disrupt the routes, maybe look to press and blitz here. Got to get to Matthew Stafford here. Too much time in the pocket, and this could be a touchdown. Surprised on that last play, though. Eric Ebron running that corner route. He was wide open. Chose to go underneath there, so I'm wondering what's going on in Stafford's head a little bit right now.
3rd and 7, pistol formation for Matt Stafford. He's going to drop back to pass, looking over the left side. What a hit! It's intercepted! What a play! And it's going to be returned up to the 8-yard line. Wow, what a play! The big hit laid, and then picking it off what appeared to be the corpse on the field was Chanowin with the pick, and the Washington Redskins force a turnover inside the red zone.
And that's what we talked about. They had to get that turnover, and there it is, first one of the game. Sonny Weaver splash play.
How did he get that one after the big hit? The drop just sort of fell on top of the receiver, sort of sat there. It appeared that was Gilbert DeGear trying to catch that one. Just sort of laid on his chest, and the heads-up play to pick that one up is a first down run there for Keith Marshall. Gets him yet another first down, 14 yards on that play. I'm sure Washington Redskins fans around the globe are scratching their heads as to why Keith Marshall didn't touch the ball more inside the 5-yard line. But they're up 3-0 after forcing a big turnover on the Detroit Lions. Jameis Winston under center, 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends. Keith Marshall in the backfield. It's going to be a handoff to Marshall once again right up the gut. Had a big hole there. Tried to cut it back to the left side, and he was brought down for only a 3-yard gain. Going to bring up a 2nd and 7.
Can we talk about Keith Marshall averaging more than 5 yards a carry right now?
Wow.
And why Matt Jones is even getting touches in this game? This is a big game. I would not be bringing Keith Marshall out of this game.
Well, Matt Jones is in the game here. 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end for Jameis Winston. Matt Jones in the backfield, 2nd and 7. Blitz is picked up. He tosses it underneath to Josh Doxson, who has the first down up to the 34-yard line. Give him 10 yards on this play. Jameis Winston, 4 of 4, 34 yards. Sonny, this is a guy who was run out of Tampa Bay. Is this a guy who can be successful in the NBL? Seems like he's doing pretty well here in Washington.
Well, he's doing a lot better here in Washington because he's got a lot better surrounding cast. The dumpster fire that was Tampa Bay, I got to tell you, that thing really went downhill quickly. I'm not sure what's going on down there, but you can tell from their record, things are not improving.
Yeah, Jameis Winston coming over from Tampa Bay and leading this Washington team that had Riley Rodenhauser, who led them to a Super Bowl, but they end up going with what they felt like was a more talented option in Jameis Winston, and the Washington Redskins sitting there, 2 losses on the year, 1 tie, atop the NFC East. 2nd and 8, it's going to be Winston dropping back to pass. He gets it off to Keith Marshall, who has a first down, makes a man miss, makes another man miss. He's up to the 30. He's up to about the 26-yard line. Wow, what a run there by Keith Marshall, and some suspect tackling from the Detroit Lions, Sonny. Something that we're not used to seeing from a usually stout defense.
Yeah, but now we're seeing Keith Marshall heat up yet again. And here we go, right when Marshall heats up, in comes Matt Jones to take him down.
1st and 10, I formation for Jameis Winston. Looks like they set up a screen pass. He flips it over to Matt Jones. He's going to run over to the left side. Breaks a tackle. He's got a lot of room. Flag on the play. They're going to call him down just at the 1-yard line. But I think this one is coming back. It is indeed those screen passes. So tough for offensive linemen to block as one gets a little block in the back there. And Sonny, it's going to bring up the always common 1st and 8.
Yeah, and the 1st and 8, a very common drive here in NBL. We see it very often here on NBL Live.
Yeah, you usually have a 1st and 8 play in the playbook as the handoff is to Matt Jones. Over the right side, he's going to get 4 yards down to the 21-yard line. Bring up a 2nd and 5. We're seeing a lot of Matt Jones in this game, even with the talented Keith Marshall. They do like bringing in Matt Jones in some of these situations. Not a lot of success so far for Jones, only 4 carries for 8 yards. Well, Marshall is already averaging over 8 yards per carry in this game. 2nd and 5 now for the Washington Redskins. They're just outside the red zone on the 21-yard line. It's going to be Jameis Winston under center, 4 wide receivers, 2 to each side. Keith Marshall in the backfield. 2nd and 5, Dingle coming in motion over from the right to the left. It's going to be a handoff to Keith Marshall right up the middle, and that was a slow-developing run play, Sonny, and it was going nowhere. Marshall is brought down right at the line of scrimmage, going to bring up a 3rd and 6.
Yeah, and that's been the first time that you've actually seen Keith Marshall look human today. Don't abandon him just yet. 3rd and 6 here. Maybe Keith Marshall out of the backfield.
Shotgun formation for the Washington Redskins. 4 wide receivers. Matt Jones in the game. He's going to go in motion over to the left side. Nobody in the backfield with Jameis Winston. 3rd down. He's dropping back to pass. Looks over to the right side. Has Jordan Reed in the end zone. The Washington Redskins put up a touchdown. Sonny, we hadn't called his name yet, but you knew Jordan Reed was going to have an impact on this game as he runs a route over on the right side. Jameis Winston was a nice throw over the defense. As the extra point is up, it is good in Washington. Early 10-0 lead. The crowd has been silenced here in Detroit.
Well, and that's something that it's huge. You take the fan base out of the crowd early on, and now you've got Washington up 10. They've got a dominant running attack going right now. They can easily milk the clock overtime. Detroit right here, it's a big drive. If they don't score here on this drive, Washington's going to hold all the cards coming out half.
Yeah, let's send it down to the 3rd member of our team, Z-Star. Star, what was Matt Stafford saying as he came off the field after throwing that interception that was just sort of a bad bounce away from being an incompletion?
They seem to be a little bit stunned right now. Same story. Same thing with the NFC Championship game. So they know they need to come out and get points on this drive. They can't keep turning the ball over down in the red zone.
Bubba Dillon getting 5 yards on that play. Going to bring up a 2nd and 5 for the Detroit Lions. And only 2:40 to go. The Washington Redskins dominating time of possession in this game after forcing a turnover inside the red zone. They have a 10-0 lead. Matt Stafford dropping back to pass. He tossed this underneath. And that is the usually sure-handed Faison, Sonny. And I think he was bracing for that hit before it came. Ends up dropping the ball. Going to bring up a 3rd and 5.
And you wonder psychologically what that big hit down in the red zone did to this receiving core, because he got completely clocked. So now you got a receiver like Faison who, as you said, is usually sure-handed, going ahead and dropping what should have been an easy catch.
Yeah, nonetheless, though, the drop ends up hurting the Detroit Lions. Now going to bring up a 3rd and 5. Ball's on the 30-yard line. We're at the 2:33 mark to go here in the first half. Matt Stafford comes out under center. 3 wide receivers, 2 over to the right, 1 over to the left, and Bubba Dillon in the backfield. And Detroit saw something they didn't like from the defense, using a timeout there. Yeah, Sonny, let's go back to that interception. Let's set aside what it does for the quarterback, because Matt Stafford's a veteran in this league. But what does seeing hits like that do as a wide receiver, even if you're not the one who took that hit?
Well, it makes you look at that ball a little bit and make you decide if you really want to catch that or not. You spend a lot of time looking around the field for defenders instead of looking at that ball.
3rd and 5, Matt Stafford under center with 3 wide receivers. You can drop him back to pass, looks deep over the middle of the field, and it is caught by Eric Ebron, and he's down to the 40-yard line. We hadn't called his name yet, Sonny, but Eric Ebron, he is a huge part of this Lions offense.
And Matthew Stafford, that is vintage Matthew Stafford on that play. He lofts the ball over the linebacker. The linebacker didn't play deep enough on the coverage. Ebron gets behind him. Stafford lofts it over top. Big catch there for Eric Ebron.
1st and 10 for the Detroit Lions. Matt Stafford under center again. 3 wide receivers, 2 over to the right, 1 over to the left. Bubba Dillon in the backfield on 1st down. It's going to be a handoff to Bubba Dillon. And that Washington Redskins defense was ready, and they were in the backfield to meet Bubba Dillon for a 2-yard loss. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 12. Washington up 10-0 as we hit the 2-minute warning. We'd like to thank everybody once again for tuning in to broadcast number 111 of NBL Live. I'm Oshio. I'm hanging out with my man, Sonny Weaver, and, of course, our sideline reporter, Z-Star, you'll be hearing throughout the game. This is a rematch of the NFC Championship from last season, season 24. Washington came out on top in that game, en route to a Super Bowl title. The Detroit Lions looking to avenge that loss. 2nd and 12, Matt Stafford under center, 4 wide receivers. It's going to be Stafford dropping back to pass, looking deep over the middle of the field. It's intercepted! Banjo with the interception! And he's up to the 25-yard line. The second pick thrown by Matt Stafford. It's another Sonny Weaver splash play, and I know how much Sonny loves hearing that banjo strumming.
Oh, I love it. I feel like I'm in Deliverance right now hearing those dueling banjos. A little weird? Maybe. We'll see.
And now the Washington Redskins have an opportunity to put themselves up big as Jameis Winston dropping back to pass. He's going to toss this over to Battle, running a little drag route over from the right side. He's going to get 9 yards on that play. Winston, 7-7, 103 and a touchdown. Maybe the lost player in this game, Sonny. Jameis Winston was, as you said, stuck in a tough situation in Tampa Bay, came over, and now is surrounded by plenty of talent, and he is shining so far. This Washington Redskins team, they've been dominating this game so far, 10-0. 2 interceptions thrown by Matt Stafford. Jameis Winston dropping back to pass on 2nd and 1. He's going to toss over to Josh Doctson. Takes a big hit, but he holds on to the ball and gets a first down at the 49-yard line. But let's go back, Sonny. Jameis Winston, now with a lot of talent, he's really able to show what sort of quarterback he can be.
Well, they're not asking him to do too much here in Washington. 8 of 8, 117. I wouldn't necessarily call him a game manager, but he's not asked to carry the whole offense like he was asked to do down in Tampa Bay. We're seeing exactly what Jameis Winston should be doing here in NBL.
Yeah, it certainly helps to have a guy like Keith Marshall in the backfield taking a lot of that load. 1st and 10, Winston dropping back to pass. He's going to toss it over to Keith Marshall, running a little angle route. He has the first down and more. How good is this guy with the ball in his hands, making a couple defenders miss and able to get up to the 33-yard line. Marshall, 2 catches, 56 yards, Sonny, and the majority of that has been with the ball in his hands.
Well, between catching and running the ball, Marshall over 100 all-purpose yards right now in this game. Right now, the offense is flowing through Keith Marshall, and he's a guy I'm giving that ball to all day long.
1st and 10, 3 wide receivers out for Jameis Winston. It's going to be a handoff to Keith Marshall over the left side, and finally the Detroit Lions able to force some penetration. Washington's going to use a timeout as we're down under 30 seconds to go. 2nd and 11. That might be the first time, though, we've seen this Detroit Lions defensive line actually get some meaningful penetration.
You know, it hasn't happened often in this game, and that's a matchup that we talked about, the trenches and who's going to win that. We've seen so far not a whole lot from Washington, but just enough to make Matthew Stafford uncomfortable.
2nd and 11, Battle coming in motion. It's going to be Winston dropping back to pass. He finds the sit route. Wow. He finds Battle on that sit route. That looked like it was well covered, though, and it seems like the defender who was covering that whiffed on the pick and ends up giving the Washington Redskins a nice gain up to the 25-yard line. Clock running, though. We're down at 11 seconds. Washington, did they just not notice, Sonny? Was that just they didn't notice the clock was running?
Yeah, that was a 9-second runoff there by Washington. Somebody on the coaching staff is going to get their ear chewed off on that one when they look back at this tape. But when you talk about that last play, the middle linebacker, Lawton, saw the play. He broke on the ball, but he overran it, and that should have been intercepted.
3rd and 2 now for the Redskins. 11 seconds to go. Jameis Winston in the shotgun. He's going to be dropping back to pass here on 3rd down. He's looking deep over the right side for Battle, and it's batted away. Washington's going to be forced to kick a field goal here, but these are just a good points for the Washington Redskins as they're going to be able to extend their lead after forcing another interception from the usually sure-handed Matt Stafford's thrown 2 picks in this game already. Kick is up, and it is good. 13-0. Detroit is down at this game at home. Sonny, I don't know if you can hear that. The Boo Birds are out in the Motor City.
Yeah, some fans are a little premature with their reactions to things.
This is a 10-1 team.
Yeah, that's Detroit. What do you expect? They demand excellence now, and they're just not getting it. But when you look at this game, Matthew Stafford has got to settle down. He doesn't need to be forcing throws into tight windows. Bubba Dillon has been a non-factor in this game. I tried to get the running game going early here in the second half.
2 seconds to go. Detroit's going to come out, and, well, they're coming out looking like they're going to attack. They've got 4 wide receivers, 3 over to the right, 1 over to the left. Bubba Dillon in the backfield with Matt Stafford. As he changes up the play, he's going to hand it off to Bubba Dillon, try to get something on the ground. Dillon's going to actually get a nice gain here up to the 39-yard line. It helps when the entire defense backs off, and we're going to hit halftime. The Washington Redskins shutting out the Detroit Lions in the first half. They're up 13-0. As the Lions are going to get the ball to start the second half. But if you're a Detroit Lions fan, you can't be happy at how they have performed at home, as this one's going to be out to the 25-yard line. Let's send it down to our sideline reporter, Z-Star. What is Matt Stafford? He's a consummate professional, but 2 interceptions in this game. 1 less his fault, 1 completely his fault. What was he like coming out of the locker room? What were the Detroit Lions saying?
He's actually feeling pretty optimistic, because even though they got flat out dominated in the first half, they're only down 2 possessions. And with an offense like this that can really strike in a blink of an eye, this game is not over by any stretch of the imagination. So I would look for a much more aggressive and better Detroit Lions football team here in the second half.
Yes, 2nd and 10 now for the Detroit Lions after that incomplete pass. Ball's on the 25-yard line. Matt Stafford, he's got 3 wide receivers and 1 tight end. He's going to be dropping back to pass here. Looks over the middle of the field. That one's incomplete. Sonny, maybe it's just me. You are the Matt Stafford expert. You're a Matt Staffordologist. He looks uncomfortable in the pocket. He's making some quick reads and has missed a couple wide open receivers.
And we talked about that coming into the game. Once again, we've seen it on NBL Live so far this year. He's had a lot of pressure in his face. I think he's starting to hear some footsteps as he's dropping back now.
Matt Stafford under center now, 3rd and 10. 3 wide receivers, 2 over to the left, 1 to the right. Bubba Dillon in the backfield. He's also got Eric Ebron. Watch for him here on 3rd down. Stafford loves finding his big tight end. It's going to be Stafford dropping back to pass. He's got all the time in the world. Finally gets it off, and it's the 3rd interception of the game from Matt Stafford. And it was Cardi able to come up with that one. He was sitting there in the zone the entire time, and Matt Stafford has thrown 3 picks. The Washington Redskins, they're all up in the heads of the Detroit Lions. Yet another Sonny Weaver splash play.
And that may have been the worst one we've seen so far this game. The linebacker read the route. He shaded to the side with it, and Matthew Stafford had to have seen that, but he just trusted his arm a little too much, thought he could thread the needle there, and that wasn't going to happen. This isn't the Matthew Stafford we're used to seeing.
Yeah, this is a Matt Stafford who looks completely uncomfortable playing these Washington Redskins. The Redskins might be in Matt Stafford's head as they beat him in the NFC Championship last year, and they are dominating him at home right now where the Detroit Lions have been so good. Keith Marshall able to get up near the 1st down marker. It's going to bring up a 3rd and inches at the 22-yard line. Short field here for Washington. You know they want to cash in with 7, not another field goal. If there's been one positive for the Detroit Lions faithful, it has been the defense have forced the Washington Redskins into 2 field goals instead of touchdowns, which has really kept this game manageable. But another pick by Matt Stafford on the 1st drive of the 2nd half. Now Washington has to convert a 3rd and inches. Play action pass. Winston rolling out, and nice pressure there by the Detroit Lions, able to hit Jameis Winston. And they're going to call that an incomplete pass, and Washington's going to force to kick another field goal, looking to put them up 16-0. It is still 2 scores, but you still need 2 2-point conversions, which is no easy task, as the kick is up and good. Sonny, it could be just me. I felt like maybe the Washington Redskins got maybe a little too cute on that 3rd and inches.
Well, they're getting a little bit cute there. I think the Detroit Lions definitely sold out. He needed maybe a half a second to get his head up off that play action, look for it. He had 2 open guys to the right side of the play. Don't discredit that play. They knew they were in field goal range. I think they were trying to go for the death blow there, try to put 7 up on the board.
16-0 Washington on top. Detroit coming out. Matt Stafford at the helm. He's thrown 3 interceptions. This is a guy who coming in had over 111 quarterback rating coming in. And he's thrown 3 interceptions, no touchdowns in this game. Sonny, I'm not the analytics guy. You're the stats guy. I'm pretty sure that makes his quarterback rating a little less than 111.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. You may see a little drop, just a slight one.
A slight drop as Matt Stafford play action pass here on 1st and 10, and he's going for it all. He's got one-on-one coverage out there, and it's an incomplete pass. Nice job out on the outside. Matt Stafford, 6 of 13. This is a guy who usually averages about 75% completion. He's 6 of 13 in this game. And right there, Sonny, that looked like a complete force downfield.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford getting a little impatient. 6 for 13 for 86 yards. Not a stat line you're going to see very often there for Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, we've seen him on NBL Live completing 15 consecutive passes, only 1 incompletion in the entire game. This one, the Washington Redskins defense, give credit to them. They are all over Matt Stafford. They've been all over these wide receivers, not giving him a whole lot of lanes. 2nd and 10. Matt Stafford's going to be dropping back to pass. Corner blitz coming. He has to get rid of it early. He throws over to the left side, one-on-one coverage, and the 4th interception from Matt Stafford is here in the 3rd quarter with 4:37 to go. Another Sonny Weaver splash play. And boys and girls, you are watching the demise of Matt Stafford here on NBL Live. Sonny, this is unbelievable to watch.
This will forever be known from here on out to be the Matthew Stafford meltdown game. And wow, what a sack there on that play.
Ausler,
Detroit
nice
stumping
job.
out.
Nice sack on that one, 4-yard loss. That is the Sonny Weaver splash play, but Detroit's going to need a lot more of that if Matt Stafford continues throwing dimes to the opposite team. 2nd and 14 now for the Washington Redskins, forcing yet another turnover from the Detroit Lions. It's going to be Jameis Winston under center. He's got Keith Marshall in the backfield, 2 wide receivers, 1 to each side. It's going to be a toss to Marshall. He's going to try to cut it back inside. He's only going to get a yard, bring up a 3rd and 13. Sonny, unbelievably, though, Matt Stafford has thrown 4 interceptions, and the Detroit Lions, they're not out of this game.
They're not out of this game, except when you take into account the way Matthew Stafford has played in this game. 86 total yards for Detroit here halfway through the 3rd quarter. When is the last time we've ever seen that happen?
This is an anomaly for sure. As on 3rd and 13, he finds Battle, who gets a first down there. Look at the protection there, Sonny. We don't talk about that enough. The offensive line gave Jameis Winston 7 seconds to throw a ball, and when you have 7 seconds in the pocket, eventually one of your wide receivers is going to get open.
Well, yeah, if you have that much time and you can get no pressure, you can throw all day. Little surprised that this Lions defensive line, who's been really good this year, hasn't got any pressure yet here on Jameis Winston.
Yeah, now it's a 1st and 10 I formation. Jameis Winston dropping back to pass, quick drop, and one of the few bad throws we've seen from Jameis Winston. He was looking for Jordan Reed, run that little corner route, couldn't find him, a little bit of an overthrow, but it ends up being harmless, falls to the ground, going to bring up a 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Jameis Winston, the first kind of uncontrolled pass there. Not what we want to see in this game. He's got to stay in tune here for the rest of this game.
2nd and 10, quick drop for Winston, rolling out to the left side, and Winston's going to go down, but that looks like that might be a face mask. It is, and just the hits keep coming. Detroit gives up a 1st down and 15 yards on a sack. The wheels, as in the words of Bomber, and Sonny, I don't think this is exactly how the quote goes, but I think he would be saying right now, the wheels on the bus have fallen to the ground.
I was thinking something along those lines. I think Bomber would be proud of that if it wasn't him getting blown out.
I don't know how happy he'd be seeing his Detroit Lions down 60. Well, I'm going to guess it's probably not happy up in the owner's suite as this pass goes out to Jordan Reed, who fights forward. He gets another 1st down up to the 20-yard line. Give him 12 yards on that play. While we have a moment here in the 3rd quarter, I want to give a big shout-out, as always, to our graphics and pregame sponsor, web3ks.com. They do that sweet overlay you see here on NBL Live. A ton of other graphics for us on all of our shows, and they're super affordable. So if you or anyone you know needs graphics done for an affordable price, head over to web3ks.com, the leaders in affordable graphic design. 1st and 10. It's going to be handoff to Keith Marshall right up the middle, and the blitz finally gets there and brings down Marshall. 13 carries, 52 yards. Loses 3 on that play, but if you're a Washington Redskins fan right now, you are in pretty good shape. Up 16-0 on the road.
16-0 on the road. You're in position to go up 3 scores, and that should basically end this game. So right now, if you're Detroit, you're selling out, trying to get a splash play.
2nd and 13. Jameis Winston in the shotgun. He's been dropping back to pass here on 2nd down. As again, oh my God, he tosses it up into about quadruple coverage, falls incomplete, and maybe getting a little antsy. Jameis Winston might not be used to winning on the big bright lights of NBL Live.
Yeah, and right now you're wondering what's going through Detroit's mind. You had a chance, you had the ball in your hand, and you go ahead and blow it.
The old Stonehands back there, unable to bring it up. 3rd and 13. As Jansen's coming to motion from the left to the right. 4 wide receivers. Jameis Winston dropping back to pass. The pressure gets there, and down goes Winston. Ball comes out. They're going to say it's an incomplete pass. And once again, the Detroit Lions defense holds strong after another Matt Stafford interception. They're able to force a field goal attempt as the ball is down. The kick is up, and it is good. Washington up 19-0 now. While we have this kickoff, let's send it down to the 3rd member of our team. Z-Star, you're down on the Detroit Lions sidelines. They're hearing the boos. What's the message at this point? Are the players in the ears of Matt Stafford, or what's going on down there?
Well, you can't really blame Matt Stafford only. I mean, the defense hasn't played well.
You kind of can.
The defense hasn't played well.
4 interceptions. You can kind of blame him.
Right, but Washington's been really sticking to their game plan because Detroit can't stop the run. I mean, Keith Marshall's having a day and a half here. So, yes, Matthew Stafford deserves a lot of the blame, but so does that defense. I mean, overall, this team's not playing well.
Now, 1st and 10. Stafford trying to find his wide receiver over the middle of that. That one goes nowhere. He has completed. Sonny, here's something I didn't think I'd ever say here on NBL Live or at any point here in the NBL. Matt Stafford has completed only 2 more passes to his team than to the other team.
That's a little bit of a problem here.
And that's not good for any team who's sitting here at 10-1. Stafford dropping back to pass. He completes it to his own team, and it's a 1st down for the Detroit Lions. The sarcastic cheers going up in the Motor City. Another completion, the 7th one of the day for Matt Stafford.
It's about time. Maybe Matthew Stafford's heating up. Maybe we'll get an interesting fourth quarter. I'm not sure I'm going to bite on that yet.
Minute 34 to go here in the third. Stafford under center on 1st and 10. Drops back, tosses it underneath. It is complete. And it's going to be up to the 43-yard line. Another first down. Stafford trying to get in some sort of rhythm here as he finds DeGear underneath. And they're going to try to keep this rhythm going as they move into the hurry-up offense with a minute 16 to go here in the third quarter. 19-0, they're down. Amaro coming in motion. 1st and 10. It's going to be a play-action pass. The rush is coming. And it's an incomplete pass. I'm a little surprised not to see the intentional grounding flag come out there, Sonny. That looked like he just threw it directly into the Lions' head.
Well, there is no intentional grounding as long as the quarterback's being hit while attempting a throw. It looked like he was trying to get a throw off there. I'm more surprised they didn't call it a fumble. I think that's more of the tuck rule rather than a forward throw, but the rest disagree, and so we get a 2nd and 10.
Shout out to all the Raiders fans out there for the tuck rule reference. 2nd and 10, Matt Stafford dropping back to pass. He has a man wide open on the right side. It is Gilbert DeGear. Tried to make a move, couldn't get it done, but he's going to get down to the 22-yard line. The Redskins brought the blitz there, trying to get in Matt Stafford's face. Stafford able to finally complete a pass with some pressure. 1st and 10, handoff to Papa Dillon right up the middle. He's got a huge hole as he's going to get up to about the 7-yard line. Bubba Dillon with a hole big enough to drive a truck through it. Finally get something going on the ground. And the Detroit Lions, they have a 1st and goal. If they can get a score here, Sonny, this game isn't quite over.
Not quite over, and really Bubba Dillon finding some holes here as they've gone a heavy passing attack. Maybe go back to him here.
1st and goal, ball on the 7-yard line. Stafford dropping back to pass here. Looks in the back of the end zone. And a little too much mustard on that one. Tried to whip it in there. Matt Stafford, 9 of 20. Only completing 45% of his passes. Folks, if you don't follow the NBL, this is a guy who's completing 72% of his passes on the year. A quarterback rating of over 111. And he's thrown 4 interceptions and only completed 9 of 20 passes. The Detroit Lions, that's why they're down 19-0. I appreciate all our commentary from our third member of our team, Z-Star, but this one, in my mind, falls squarely on Matt Stafford. He has been shaky, to say the least. 2nd and goal. Looks like they're setting up a little halfback screen over on the left side. They love this play inside the red zone. The Washington Redskins, though, they saw this in the playoffs last year in the NFC Championship game. They're able to stop it for no gain, and all of a sudden, it's a 3rd and goal on the 7-yard line.
Finally, we've seen it so far. This is the 3rd NBL live game. We've seen this play run down the red zone. The first 2 were against division opponents, playing them twice a year. They should know better, should stop that play. But here we have the Washington Redskins who have the Lions number, seeing that play, sneaking into the backfield there to get that play. Great play there by Washington.
Matt Stafford, 3rd and goal, throws a dangerous pass. Lucky that one wasn't intercepted. And now it's 4th and goal. Wow, the Detroit Lions had 3 shots from the 7-yard line. This is a team that is usually so good inside the red zone. They're going to be forced to kick a field goal after gaining 0 yards once they got a 1st and goal. Ball is down, kick is up, it is good. Detroit gets some points on the board. They do cut it to 2 scores, but you got to be disappointed if you're a Detroit Lions fan. Not only are you down big, even when you had an opportunity there, Sonny, you couldn't punch it in the end zone.
Well, you know what they say, OSU, how do you eat an elephant?
Usually I put some salt on it, maybe some barbecue sauce.
You eat it 1 bite at a time. And so if Detroit wants to come back, any points is the first good step towards coming back in this game. Matthew Stafford takes some positives away on that drive. He had one kind of ill-timed throw there in the end in the red zone. Other than that, he looked like vintage Matthew Stafford. We need to see more of that here in the fourth quarter.
That was another edition of our new segment, The Tao of Sonny Weaver, coming out with a little Confucius saying there. Keith Marshall runs over the right side. He's going to get another good gain up to the 31-yard line. 19-3. Let's send it down to Z-Star. Star, let's go to the other sideline. The Washington Redskins, they got to be feeling good here. They're up 19-3. They have the ball. What's the message as they have 1 quarter to play before pulling off one of the biggest wins on the road?
Well, I got a chance to speak with Jay Gruden right before the half, and he is not surprised at all. They had this game plan. They worked it out all week in practice, and they're just seeing the results right now. So this is just another day in the office for them.
Yeah, they are, after coming out with that win in the NFC Championship game last season, you know they are a confident bunch, up 19-3. Now a big 3rd and inches. If you're a Detroit Lions fan, you got to get a stop here. You got to imagine it's going to be Keith Marshall getting the ball. As we have about 17 tight ends on the field. That can't be legal. 3rd and inches. Keith Marshall, he's got a big hole on the left side. He has one man to beat. Stop and go, and he keeps going. Oh, what a tackle. Nice recovery by Young, able to bring down Keith Marshall. But he's up to the 24-yard line. The Washington Redskins continue rolling here in the Motor City as they're down to the 24-yard line.
Keith Marshall again taking over this game. I got a good idea who NBL Live Player of the Game is about to be.
Yeah, stick with us to the end of the game, folks. We'll have what might be an unsurprising selection for NBL Live Player of the Game, as well as we'll put up the NBL Live schedule as we're reaching the playoff time here in the NBL. You just never know what sort of matchups you'll see as we have the ability to flex out a lot of these games. So stick with us to the end. You can check out that schedule of potentially scheduled games, as well as that NBL Live Player of the Game selection. 2nd and 3. And Keith Marshall's going to come out in the Wildcat formation. He's going to take the snap here on the 18-yard line. He's going to try to run it over the right side. He has the 1st down and more up to the 8-yard line. Marshall, 17 carries, 112 yards. And, Sonny, even a moment where Keith Marshall is taking the snap, you know he's going to be the one running the ball. They can't find a way to stop Keith Marshall.
One thing to know they're going to run the ball. It's another thing to try to stop Keith Marshall, and that's something they have not done much today.
Matt Jones with the carry. Matt Jones with a nice run. Matt Jones just short of the end zone. He's going to be at about the half-yard line. Give him 8 yards on that one. Going to bring up a 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line. Sonny, are you a betting man? Who do you think is touching the ball here?
Based on the way things have gone, I'm guessing this is going to be a Keith Marshall.
Sure. 2nd and goal. It's Jameis Winston. You're wrong. You owe me $100. Everyone heard it here on NBL Live.
Of course. And so Matt Jones gets him to the 1-yard line, and it's not Keith Marshall yet. It's Jameis Winston. So everybody in your fantasy teams who has Keith Marshall, be upset.
Sorry. Yeah, be mad at Jay Gruden and the Washington Redskins. So they go up 26-3 here on NBL Live. Folks, if you haven't watched NBL before, first of all, welcome to the broadcast. We appreciate all of you tuning in. I'm OSU. I'm hanging out with my man Sonny and the 3rd member of our crew, Z-Star, down on the sidelines. You might think these Detroit Lions, they must be a scrub, bottom of the NFC North. This is a 10-1 team. They've been dominant throughout the season, and they're playing the Washington Redskins, who, albeit are also very good. They're sitting there at 8-2-1 atop the NFC East. This is a rematch of the NFC Championship from season 24. The Washington Redskins came out on top in that one. Not quite as dominant as it's been here, but with Matt Stafford, you never know, as he throws another ball there that is just, well, inexcusable. It was not open. It's an incomplete pass. Lucky that wasn't intercepted for the 5th time. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 10.
And right now, Matthew Stafford is a sub 50% thrower, 4 interceptions, no touchdowns. Wonder if this is maybe a sign of things to come as the season comes to an end.
Nothing would be happier for Sonny Weaver, the biggest Matt Stafford critic in the NBL. 2nd and 10, 5 wide receivers from Matt Stafford. He's been dropping back to pass here. Looks over the middle. It is incomplete again. Now, I will say this, Sonny. I will put the blame on Matt Stafford. He has not been good in this game, but his receivers have not helped him today. We've seen multiple drops and multiple balls that probably should have been caught.
Yeah, and really that's what it comes down to, is the receivers haven't helped Stafford out when he has made the right throw, which hasn't been all the time. They've dropped some very catchable balls, and so this has been a team effort loss here for Detroit.
Yeah, 3rd and 10 now for the Detroit Lions. 3 wide receivers, 2 over to the right, 1 to the left for Matt Stafford. Bubba Dillon in the backfield. Watch out for Eric Ebron. Again, haven't called his name a lot. Stafford, he finds Eric Ebron. It is complete as he shakes off a tackler, and he has a 1st down. Ebron is only his 2nd catch on the day. And, Sonny, you talk about Eric Ebron. It's a phrase you've used all the time. He is so good at getting the extra yards. He is big, he is strong, and he is tough to bring down.
Yeah, Eric Ebron, one of my favorite Detroit Lions. It's not as much his route running ability, but his run after catch that makes him one of the elite tight ends. 1st
and 10, Matt Stafford dropping back to pass here. He's looking over to the left side. It is complete again. This one to Bubba Dillon. He's going to get down to the 45-yard line. But, Sonny, as we've watched this game, I think one of the biggest reasons Matt Stafford's thrown so many interceptions is he has been unable to work the ball downfield, having to throw a lot of underneath balls, and the Washington Redskins defense is keyed in on that.
And exactly, he's taken a couple shots downfield. They were ill-advised shots, really weren't set up. Other than that, he's had to work downfield most of the game.
1st and 10, Matt Stafford dropping back to pass. He's looking down the field, and finally one gets brought in. A big catch on the right side. That was Whistler Ridgeway bringing down that one. Excuse me, that was Faison bringing down that one. A guy who we thought was injured to start this game. The tough guy coming down with a big catch. Detroit, 2:47 to go. Stafford's going to toss this one underneath. It is complete down to the 18-yard line. That was Eric Ebron, his third catch on the day. Going to bring up a 2nd and 6. Sonny, nice to see the Lions offense working a little bit here in the second half, but it just seems like it's too little too late.
Yeah, and at this point, if I'm the Lions, what I'm trying to do is, A, not get hurt, but B, I'm trying to see what's working against this defense. It's something they can take with them into the playoffs here in a couple weeks.
2nd and 6, handoff to Bubba Dillon, who shakes off a tackler, and he's going to get the first down. Looked like he had a lot of room over there to the left side. I'm surprised he didn't try to break that one out there. Instead, he's just going to take the first down at the 10-yard line. The Detroit Lions trying to move quickly. They're not technically out of this game yet. 2:10 to go. Matt Stafford in the pistol, 2 wide receivers. It's going to be Stafford rolling out to the right side, looks deep over the middle, trying to find, looked like that was Gilbert DeGear, and DeGear can't come up with that one. That's a catch DeGear usually has in the back of the end zone, but he takes the hit, and it's going to be an incomplete pass.
Yeah, and that's not what you want to see here for Detroit. You want to try to put some points on the board here. Don't force it here. Let's not add another interception to Stafford's totals.
Pistol formation for Matt Stafford here on 2nd and goal, rolling out to the left side, looking for somebody, and wow, what a hit he takes, trying to dump that one off to Bubba Dillon. Oh boy, things have gone bad to worse. Matt Stafford's going to be feeling this one in the morning. Sonny, if you're the Lions, is there just a thought of pulling Matt Stafford on the field, making sure he doesn't get hurt?
I was just thinking that. I'm not sure why Tyrod Taylor is not in there. He's a capable backup who's capable of handing the ball off, and that's what the Lions should be doing right now.
3rd and goal, pistol formation for Matt Stafford. 3 wide receivers, 2 over to the right, 1 over to the left. Stafford dropping back to pass here. Looks over to the left side and another drop there. Can't come in with the catch. That time is Whistler Ridgeway. It's going to bring up a 4th and goal. You got to think they're going for it here. You got nothing to lose, but boy, complete meltdown all around here in the Motor City.
And so we talked about it. You had Matthew Stafford out on the edge there. He goes ahead and throws it, gets clocked. You're letting him stand in the pocket long amounts of time. If you're going to throw it, make it quick. Don't risk getting him hurt at this point. 4th
and goal, Matt Stafford in the shotgun. 3 wide receivers, ball on the 10-yard line. It's going to be Bubba Dillon coming in motion from the backfield. Nobody in the backfield with Matt Stafford. Blitz coming up the middle. He tosses it over the middle, and that is enigmatic of the Detroit Lions' day. Gilbert DeGear catches the ball, has a wide open lane to the end zone. The ball is just a little bit behind him, and he falls to the ground at the 2-yard line. Sonny, not a lot to say about this one. The Detroit Lions are just going to want to cross this one off the schedule and forget about this game.
Yeah, I think at this point they're going to burn the tape when they get back to the locker room. No need to watch this one. No one really played well anywhere along the line. And I think this is one that you're just going to wish you could forget.
Jameis Winston in the shotgun. He's going to hand it off to Battle coming in motion, trying to run that little jet sweep. He's going to actually lose about a half yard there, going back to the 1-yard line. Going to bring up a 2nd and 11. Let's set it down for the last time to the 3rd member of our team, Z-Star. Star, what is the mood on the Washington Redskins sideline right now? Are they ecstatic? Or you said that Jay Gruden had said that this was what they were expecting. Are they showing that, or are they showing at least a little bit of excitement to be up this much here on the road?
No excitement at all. Like I said, this is just another day at the office for them. Right now, their main thing is just getting out of here with no late second or late minute injuries.
Yeah, you don't want to see anyone get injured at this point in the game. 26-3, Washington on top. Again, folks, stick with us to the end of the game. We'll have that NBL live schedule up for you so you can see what games are coming up. We got a lot of great ones coming up here. We're in week 13 right now, so it's the playoff push. 3rd and 11 now for the Washington Redskins. It doesn't look like Detroit's going to be using any timeouts. Washington just trying to make sure they don't kneel it in their own end zone. Sonny, how good is this Washington Redskins team? We've seen them dominate the Detroit Lions here on the road. Are they considered, as the defending Super Bowl champion, the Super Bowl favorite at this point?
Well, I think you've got to beat the best to be the best. And right now, Detroit's still trying to figure out this puzzle that is the Washington defense. I wouldn't be surprised there's some tough teams in the NFC that may be able to give this team a chance to struggle. One thing I would be looking at is...
Okay. Sorry. I thought for sure Matt Jones was going down for a safety.
You thought you were
there.
getting the safety. Balls.
I wanted to see 26-5.
There's some teams I think they can get pressure on Winston, something that the Detroit Lions surprisingly couldn't do. And coming in this game, I thought they would be able to do.
Well, the clock is going to run down to the 000s, and what a shocker here on NBL Live. The Washington Redskins not only win on the road in Detroit, they win in dominant fashion, 26-3. Oh, what a game. We saw just a complete meltdown from Matt Stafford and the Detroit Lions, and now it's time to pick our NBL Live player of the game here for broadcast number 111. Sonny, Keith Marshall, right? I mean, Keith Marshall, Jameis Winston had a great game. He had 182 yards, threw for a touchdown, completed 72% of his passes, but Keith Marshall's the engine that runs this team. Keith Marshall deserves to be player of the game.
You know, I was really leaning towards Matt Jones.
He almost got safety at the end. That would have been
just
fun.
kidding. No, Keith Marshall, he was a force on the ground and through the air. He was close to 200 yards of all-purpose yardage, and he's a guy that basically took over this game. I think the blueprint to beat this team is to have an effective running game. That's something Marshall brought to them in this game and helped lead these Washington Redskins to a big victory.
Marshall, 18 carries, 112 yards. He had some more through the air. I think he was up around 60 yards through the air. Fun fact, though, Sonny, as I was just looking through the final stats, Matt Stafford, we talked about his quarterback rating, up over 111 in the season. In this game, he finished with a quarterback rating of 28. That is not what you're looking for from a 10-1 quarterback.
Yeah, but I'm guessing that that's not going to be repeated often. Not many teams have a defense like these Washington Redskins, but I wonder if there's going to be some turmoil this week in Detroit, maybe some talk coming out of the locker room that Tyrod Taylor, maybe he gets a shot with his team.
We will see as we look at the NBL live schedule coming up, Sonny Weaver, next week. And again, we're in week 14. This was the week 13 game, so weeks 14 to 17, we have the ability to flex those games, so what you see here might not be the game that you're actually going to get. I know we already are looking at a flex for the Week 15 game, but Week 14 at the moment is the Philadelphia Eagles and the Carolina Panthers, but every matchup coming down here on NBL Live will be giving you the best playoff action that is really dependent on the playoff standings, Sonny. As we get towards the end of the season, we really get to see some great games for teams fighting for the playoff lives.
Lot of playoff talk to be had here in the coming weeks. I know that the AFC matchup, especially those wild card spots, there's about 5 or 6 teams in the play there. I believe we'll see a couple of those flexed onto that week 14, 15, 16 schedule. Same on the NFC. I think there's 4 spots still up there in the NFC. The NFC South will be a race to the finish, and that is one. And I know it's one you, OSU, will be interested to see.
I don't know. What is this? What are we doing here? We got a lot of great games. Again, follow us on Twitter at Bomber League, or hit that subscribe button down below so you know when we're going live. We also post our game times on the Twitter at Bomber League whenever those are scheduled on a week-by-week basis. What a game we had here. A shocker. Sonny, final thoughts on the Detroit Lions' complete demolition at the hands of the Washington Redskins.
I believe I dubbed it early in this game, but this will forever be known as the Matthew Stafford meltdown game.
What a game we had here on NBA Live. We're going to get out of here, folks. We hope to see you in our last couple weeks of the regular season, as well as our every playoff broadcast. We broadcast every week of the playoffs. So again, at Bomber League, or hit that subscribe button down below. For my co-host, Sonny Weaver, and of course, the third member of our crew, Z-Star, I'm OSU. Your final score, once again, the Washington Redskins. Dominant! Big win in Detroit, 26-3. We'll see you next week for some Week 14 action here on NBL Live.